Shaun Murphy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm a huge fan. I know I've caught you bang in the middle of the Masters, so I do appreciate you coming on the podcast just for a little bit of a chat and get a little bit of your time.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. I have to say, it's actually nice to do something because you spend a lot of time in these hotel rooms. You can only go and have a couple of hours, practice per day. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. So I may as well come and speak to you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. I know that I was speaking to a few of the snooker players in the last competition. They said they had to book out time to get just a little bit of a slot to be able to get on the tables, and especially at the beginning of the competition when it was hectic, first come first serve, and they had to you had like a marker to put your name in to try and get in. What's it been like down there at Milton Keynes through the Masters? I think there's obviously a lot less of yous there.
Well, there's a lot less, but there's fewer practice tables, so it's the same. It's the same problem. But that's how it is at every tournament. You always have to book your slots. You can't just wander in.
Yeah.
Snooker. My coach Chris Henry also coaches on the golf tour. Doing the mental side of things with some of the PGA Tour professionals, and he tells me the practice ranges at golf course events. There's just bay upon bay upon bay where people can go and hit balls. We unfortunately don't have that thing, so you always have to book your slots in advance. That's not a new phenomenon, but certainly since COVID has struck, everyone's had to become a bit more rigid with how that works. World Snooker have got one-way systems in and out. Everything gets sanitized between sessions. So it's all had to become a bit more robust, and players have had to be a little bit more organized in looking ahead at when they want to practice, how that fits with their preparations for matches and stuff, and just be a little bit more organized, and that suits some more than others.
Speaking of golf, have you managed to get yourself out? Because I know you're quite a good golf fan.
Yeah, no, a big golfer fan. I play as much as I can, but I just haven't played at all really. My mates and I, we managed to get out for a few socially distanced games. Of course, it's always socially distanced because they're always in the trees and I'm always down the middle. But no, seriously, in all seriousness, no, I mean it's just been an absolute terrible time, hasn't it, for everyone? And all things like that of just 1 minute the golf courses are open, next minute they're shut. It's just very, very difficult to know where you are with anything at any one time. So they've gone away, they're in the shed, and who knows when they'll see the light of day.
Well, Christmas seems like ages ago under the circumstances. Now the world being the way it is, was it nice to get to spend a little bit of time with the family? Because I know you're little and still really young, relatively young.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah, it was lovely, and even getting woken up early doors in the mornings by the two kids, it was quite nice. I mean, especially having been here for 3 months almost, just turning over every morning. I only get up in the mornings now when I'm away to watch Frasier. There's a Frasier double bill on Channel 4, and if I miss it at 9 o'clock, I can catch it on +1. But that's the only thing that gets me up when I'm away. So it was nice to see the kids. It was nice to see Elaine and spend some time at home. And actually, because of lockdown rules, we had a very, very close-knit Christmas. It was our first year in our new home, and the pressure was on us to host everyone. So when the government in Ireland, which obviously have different rules to the UK, when they said you can't have anyone, we were like, that suits us fine. We're actually okay. So it was nice, and we had what we wanted to eat rather than what everyone else wants to eat, and it was nice.
Did you just go like full out? Was it just, did it look like a grotto in there, or were you able to go a little bit less like low key?
We would be fairly low key anyway, but we had the normals. We did all the proper stuff. You'd have definitely known it was Christmas. But some of our neighbours went a little bit more into it than we did. But the kids drive it really, don't they? Especially with young children. So what they're into, we do what they want really. The house, obviously, once Santa had been, the house was full of Hot Wheels stuff. So you could barely see the Christmas tree. It was just full of Hot Wheels tracks and cars and circuits and stuff like that. I think I'm perhaps thinking of changing my career from a snooker player. I'm going to be a YouTube Hot Wheels track builder and see where we go with that.
So around New Year, you see a post from MC and all-around nice guy Phil Seymour, which gave you an idea. So I heard you give him a call.
Yeah, well, what happened was I knew the weight had been creeping on myself for some time, especially here in lockdown. Whilst competing, you sat in the hotel rooms. There's nothing really to do. Yeah. I'd completed Deliveroo and Just Eat, and I just thought, I need to do something with my life here. But I need that sort of end goal, I need an end date. I need a reason. And so I was thinking of what I could do, and I was literally scrolling through Twitter as you do, and I came across Phil's tweet where he'd said that he wanted to do a bit himself. He'd just been out for the first run of the new year, and he was looking for a challenge. And I just private messaged him and just, I know him very well. I just said, "Do you fancy doing something together?" It wasn't like I rang him out the blue and said, "You need to lose a bit of weight. Do you want to do it with me?" It wasn't quite like that.
Yeah.
And we just agreed to do something together. We came up with Snooker's Biggest Loser, literally see who can lose the most weight between now and the start of the World Championships. And we decided to combine it with two good charities. Obviously, Kitchen for Everyone in York, which is a charity very close to Phil's heart, living in York. He's done a lot of work with them. And the Jessie May Trust, which is World Snooker's partner as well. So it was hopefully the absolute worst case scenario is that we get to the eve of the World Championships. We've both slimmed down a little bit, and the two charities have made a few quid. So, it's a win-win for us. We now do actually have to go and lose some weight. So that's the thing.
One of the things I've enjoyed the most so far is the banter on the social media banter between yourselves. Now, I've seen everybody's getting involved. Neil Robertson was talking about pizza boxes outside your room, and Phil wanted us to ask you about the sweets at the tournament office and the apparent donuts getting taken to your room. Now, I know a lot of this is in jest. What do you reply to that one?
Well, the donuts were for the staff here at the hotel because they've been so accommodating. I did buy them, and they were on my person for a period of time, but they weren't for me. I can absolutely swear, and the girls on reception here at the hotel will vouch for me. I don't know what Neil Robertson's game was these spurious allegations with no factual basis at all. There's a pizza box in the hallway, so it must have been Shaun Murphy's. I mean, I'm the only person who's ever eaten a pizza in this hotel, of course.
Phil's got his spies out, I think. Phil's got his spies out, and they're trying to discredit you, Shaun, I think.
Well, it's not the first thing that's been said about me that's untrue. I have to say, it's not the only false story out there about Shaun Murphy, but it is false. And unfortunately, I have to come clean. Phil, you were sent some bait, and you took it for poor Donna. She sent out this tweet that I'd been in and ravished the sweets. It was all a bit of a setup. We just wanted to see if we could get in Phil's head, and of course we did.
It was a big bite. There was a big bite on Facebook. I saw it.
Wasn't there?
Now, I've seen some of the pre-prepared meals on social media that you've put on, Shaun, and I must say they do look good, mate. Who's been preparing your meals for you?
Yeah, well, I'm just working with a company called Tweaked Meals, and they are the official food supplier to Chelsea Football Club, a few other football clubs in the London area, some rugby teams, and a few sort of, influencers and personalities, in that kind of space. And they're a company that's about to go live to the public. And basically, they are a step further than some of the current food delivery services that are out there. Their food comes to you completely fully prepared, ready to go. It's all calorie counted. Obviously, working with Chelsea Football Club, everything has to be calorie contented to the number. And as I say, their sort of unique selling point, not unique, but one of their big points is that it comes ready. You literally pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes and off you go. And for somebody like myself, who, if left to my own devices in the hotel here, there's a lot of businessmen would be traveling regularly in hotels. They'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The hotel menus are nice, but it's not exactly aimed at people trying to lose weight. So I know that I can pop one of those meals in the microwave for 2 or 3 minutes. I know exactly how many calories. Lunchtime today, there was 420 calories in what I had for lunch, and there'll be similar in my dinner tonight. So I'm way underneath my daily allowance, and I know that today I'll be slightly lighter than I was yesterday. And I don't know how Phil's going to win, frankly. I just don't know how he's going to do it, unless he has a limb chopped off or something. I don't know. But
have you got a training regime in place, Shaun, or is it like kind of top secret? Any outside training that you're doing?
To be honest with you, the training is I'm not quite ready for it yet. I think if you're carrying a bit of extra weight, it's prohibitively difficult. It's not that you're just a bit behind everyone else and you'll get there. It actually hurts, and there's bits of it hurts your knees, or I had it before where I was running, when lockdown started last year, I used to go out running a little bit for a few weeks, but you just get some idiot on Twitter saying, "Oh, just ran past you need a sports bra," or whatever, whatever, and you just think, yeah, no, that's funny. It's funny the first 20,000 times I heard it. But so you just kind of avoid that. So yeah, I mean, when I drop a bit of weight, I definitely will get into the fitness side of it. But they do say you can't out-train a bad diet. And I have to say that the big thing for me is that, my diet for the last 20-25 years has been terrible.
Yeah.
And it's, one of the things I'm trying to do now is educate myself on my relationship with food, why I put in my body what I do, and trying to change my habits. And that starts with, what goes down.
So you're very well known, Shaun, for your charity work. Not just at home, but abroad. Donating prize money, the Paul Hunter Foundation, the Royal Manchester the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital, to name just a few. Now, it's great to see sportsmen of elite level like yourself, who have such a huge fan base, kind of actively looking to try to make a change, like especially in these times.
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, everyone at the moment is struggling, aren't they? I don't know anyone who isn't struggling. I don't know anyone who's thriving at the moment, and that goes for charities as well. Charities aren't getting the donations; they're not getting those charitable aids that they would have been doing in the past. And of course, they still have to crack on. They still have to go. They still have to look after the people they serve. So, I think we've picked two really good charities here. Yeah. I'm going to add to it myself. I said the other day on my Insta stories that from now on, every century break I make until the start of the World Championships, I'm going to put £100 aside for the charity. And if I do happen to flick a 147 in, I'll increase that to 500. That's something I used to do.
It'll be your seventh, yeah, so it's there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, on recent form, it might not cost me that much. But it's something I used to do with Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. That was a really good initiative, and that caught the public's imagination. I got the idea from Phil Mickelson in the golf. I think he still does it. He donates $500 for every birdie. I think to maybe military wives or something like that. And I just think it's good. But I think we've seen, for all the bad press that some celebrities and sports people get these days, I think you see people like Marcus Rashford stepping up to the plate, using their platform. I'm certainly not the only person doing it, and there are people doing it far and above the level to which I can give. We're not footballers, we're not tennis players, golfers. We don't have that kind of revenue to be able to spread around. But you can only do your best. And we're, as I say, the worst case scenario here is that when we get to the end of our challenge, we'll both be able to give these charities money they didn't have before. And as I say, that's a win-win.
Now, I will leave a link to both of the charities and the GoFundMe page. They've raised almost £2,000 up to now, and I think it was only 1,000. So you've got double that, and you're not even halfway through January.
No, absolutely. I mean, we thought we would achieve the target of 1,000. I think we were quite modest with that. I mean, I've never set up a GoFundMe page in my life. I didn't know what I was doing. Knocked it up in 15 minutes, but I think we thought we would surpass it. But I don't think we blitzed it in 36 hours. Yeah, I think we were like, wow, this has really caught the imagination of people out there. They were backing us, supporting us, and I spoke to Phil. I said, we actually better lose some weight here. You and I now, we better go and do it, and that's kind of kept us honest. But yeah, we're up to nearly $2,000 now, so we've gone way past our initial target. And I guess our hope is, we haven't really set a number, but I just keep trying to urge people that although we have gone past where we started. Every single pound, every single penny does make a difference. These are charities who are having a direct effect on people's lives. There's no agencies involved. There's no middlemen. There's no high-paid executives going to be taking their percentages. This money's going to go directly to the people who need it. And so if people can give, we're urging them to, please give generously.
Lastly, congrats on Monday. To say that you were trending on Twitter after the fourth frame would be an understatement. It just went up. The Twitter went absolutely crazy, and I was like, yes. And then I watched it. I mean, I've had a few people say, you tried to play safe on the black, and then I saw your interview, and it said, no, you felt so embarrassed because of what you did with the pink that you thought, I've got to go for this now. Mark won't be too happy if I don't try it at least.
I just felt so embarrassed having fluked the pink. I tried to knock the pink up and down the table and put it near the black for safety. I was in a terrible position. It was a quite awkward scenario. And I hit it. I thought, oh no, I've got it all wrong. And the pink went in the pocket without touching the sides. I was like, oh no. So then I was embarrassed, really. I put my hand up, and then I'm now faced with the black down the cushion, but I don't know what to do with it. The safety shot was almost impossible. I couldn't really see what to do. So I just thought, well, you've just potted a ball very similar to this, albeit by accident.
Yeah.
But you've just let's have another go and see if you can go. I couldn't believe it went in. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, you're known for your exceptional long putting, but that black off the top cushion was a little bit special.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like to work out the odds on them, but I'd say that's like a 1 in 20 shot. You wouldn't pot many of those shots. I mean, you used to see those types of shots all the time back in, the 90s and 80s. The pockets were massive, of course, back then. The balls used to sail in, but you wouldn't see many of those shots now on a star match table. They're going down the rail like that. It was probably not a 1 in a million, but maybe 1 in 20.
So big game tomorrow. You're playing Stuart, defending champion. You have a really good a good game together, you and Stuart. You always seem to go right to the like the final game. The last few times it's been like a 9-8, 9-8, which is always a great occasion. And I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that match without a doubt.
I think our games are very similar. I think we're both good scorers. I think we both play the game. I think we both try and win matches rather than waiting for our opponents to make mistakes. I think we both try and win from the front. We go for, our chances, go for the long pots, try and score in one visit. And I suppose, you look at our CVs, they're fairly similar. He's obviously the defending champion this week, a former world champion as well. The CVs would be, somewhat similar. And so I guess that, our games are probably, they complement each other to some degree. And that's probably why our, matches have been so good and so close in the past.
Shaun, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Best of luck for the rest of the tournament. And would you like to finish with a message to your snooker's biggest loser challenger, Phil Seymour?
Well, as I say, I mean, with the support of everyone that I've got everyone here at the hotel on my side, Phil. Everyone in Milton Keynes wants me to win. I think the majority of people on social media want me to win. And I've done it before, of course. They know that I can do it. Phil, unless you chop a leg off or you're going to lose an arm, I just don't see how you can win, mate. Nobody would mind if you dropped out now. If you decided it was too much of a job, you didn't want to face the humiliation, you can walk away now.
Shaun, thank you so much.
Thanks very much.